And this is your tech news briefing for Thursday, December 22nd. I'm Zoe Thomas for the Wall Street Journal. Amid a meltdown in the crypto market, demand for non-fungible tokens, or NFTs, also fell. And while that's led some to dismiss last year's NFT craze as a fad whose time had come and gone, others, including some of the most successful digital artists, still believe in the technology's potential. At the Wall Street Journal's Tech Live event this fall, our art market reporter Kelly Crow sat down with Michael Joseph Winkelmann, the artist better known as Beeple. She asked him about his success and the future of the sector. Here are highlights from their conversation.
So $70 million.
Okay, wow, starting off.
That's more than anyone has ever paid for anything painted by Frida Kahlo, Salvador Dali, or Paul Gauguin. We've heard of those guys. They're pretty good. So I'm thrilled to have you with us. As you know, I covered that big Christie's sale, and I've had fun checking in with you from time to time since then, so it's been really fun to sort of watch your meteoric rise. What was it like accidentally becoming the third most expensive living artist?
Well, I don't know if it was an accident. I think there was a lot of build up to that and work that sort of went into making that moment possible. But there was certainly a large degree of luck. I will definitely say that, because this is not a technology that I saw coming. I did not know about, I learned of NFTs about 4 months before that sale. So it did, things ramped up pretty quickly there.
And what was going on in the back of your mind as you saw the bidding go from $100, which is the starting estimate, up like north of 50, and then finally?
Well, I mean, by the time the morning started, it was at $13 million.
Right.
So it was already kind of, pretty wacky. But I think it's one of those things where this technology has so much potential that I think people, saw that and they see what this will be when the correct sort of infrastructure is built out.
Okay, and what do you think that piece would be worth now?
I have no idea. We are definitely in a crypto winter. I will say that. I will definitely say that. But I think it's really sort of, people are sort of hyper-focused on prices and things like that. And I think the correct focus would be more sort of who is building things that are going to have long-term value in the space, and sort of different use cases that either, again, are entertaining to people or provide some sort of utility to make their lives easier. Those are the things that are going to kind of retain value over a longer sort of period of time.
Okay, but if cryptocurrencies are in the dumps now, or at least super volatile, right? And everyone is telling me and you that NFTs are dead, right? How do you respond to those kinds of criticisms or worries, I guess?
I think it's one of those things where Bitcoin, again, as I'm learning pretty acutely, is quite cyclical. People get very, very jacked on it, and then not so much. And then,
did you manage to pull some of your money out in time?
I did pull some money out, but I put it back in, and that's the thing that gets lost in that, because I do believe in this technology long term.
What possibilities do you see even for artists in terms of using NFTs still?
Well, I think most art in the future will have an NFT attached.
Okay.
Just because it will, even all physical art, I think all paintings will eventually have NFTs attached, just because, again, it's a better system than just handing you a piece of paper that, okay, here's the certificate of authenticity. It could be written any way. It could have any sort of meaning. There's no standardization. Versus if you had a standardization around, this is a painting, you could have all the provenance in the metadata of that NFT. You could have where the painting was shown, so it's all there, and there's it's searchable in a database of paintings and things like that, all the sizes of it and everything. And so once we have those sort of standards set, I think it will you'll now have a sort of database of all art that everybody can search, everybody agrees on.
I think it is interesting to talk about sort of how you would describe your art, what you call that internet aesthetic.
Right now, it's more sort of political and weird There's some nasty pictures now and again. There's some nastiness.
There's some lactating. There's some lactating that happens.
But the program that I use to make this stuff is Cinema 4D, and it's sort of a 3D modeling tool similar to the programs that are used to make Pixar movies and sort of any kind of 3D animation. But I'm using it to sort of make a piece each day that sometimes sort of comments on current events and sometimes is more like this kind of like abstract, but yeah.
Human One, which is sort of also plays off your motif of the spaceman guy, right? Now that's been shown at museums in Italy, and now it's heading to M+, or it's there, so you've sort of broken into the museum sphere, which is the holy grail for most artists. Was that ever your goal, to get into museums?
It was the goal. Because I think at the end of the day, there is still a lot of validation that museums bring. And museums are thinking on a much longer term. And I think they are still very much kind of they're the gatekeepers, obviously, of sort of like kind of more permanent culture in a way. And obviously that's good and bad.
What kinds of advice would you give to folks who dropped a fortune buying NFTs last year?
I think it's one of those things where it's hard to make blanket advice for anybody who holds any NFT. It's one of these things where it's really kind of on a case-by-case basis. I think if there's certain NFTs you're holding, you should probably sell them. And I think
this is good. Yeah.
There are other NFTs you're holding. You're probably fine.
Okay.
There's a lot of answers there. I'm not going to like blast certain projects, but I think it's one of these things, again, people need to look at the teams behind this stuff and sort of look at who's kind of try to look through the like hype and sort of like, sort of see, is this something that I can see a bunch more people coming to in the future.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, a lot of this stuff has there's a limited amount of people who will ever be interested in. Like, baseball cards exist, and like, I don't know that much about baseball cards, but to be honest, I just don't care. I'm never going to care about baseball cards. Yeah. No offense to baseball cards. Yeah. But like, and so this isn't like something.
But there's some dude out there who knows.
But there is a lot of people who really do like resonate with that.
Well, we're out of time. Thank you guys. And thank you, Mike. This is really great fun.
You guys.
Appreciate it.
And that's it for today's Tech News Briefing. For more tech stories, check out our website, WSJ.com. I'm Zoe Thomas for the Wall Street Journal. Thanks for listening.